So may I come in?
Yes, please do.
Very good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir.
Please take your seat.
Thank you, sir.
You're Mr. Anshul.
Yes, sir.
Anshul, you're comfortable with English as your preferred medium?
Yes, sir.
And you're vaccinated?
Yes, sir.
Remove your mask then. So, Anshul, now since we already know your name, so you need not repeat your name or mention your caste, your community or any other identity marker. Introduce yourself.
Sir, I am from basically Gautam Budh Nagar. I have been residing in Gautam Budh Nagar for past 20 years. I have done my intermediate schooling from there itself. After that, I have done BTech in Civil Engineering from IIT Kanpur. Post that, I took a job in the corporate sector as an associate data scientist in Optum Global Solutions, which is based in Noida. And after doing job for 1 year, I started preparing for civil services examination. And this is my first attempt.
You did your civil engineering?
Yes, sir.
Then left your core area and got into data scientist?
Yes, sir.
And now you want to become a babu?
Yes, sir.
Why are you hopping your interests?
Sir, I have decided to be in civil services from my third year itself. So it was my interest which I developed during my college, and also due to my guidance from one of my teacher who is a sociologist teacher. So he guided me to pursue this. So I contacted some of my seniors and they told me that you will require at least 1 or 2 years of preparation. So I sat in the placement in the 4th year because I do not want to be financially dependent on my parents. So in that 1 year, I wanted to earn enough so that the next 2-3 years I could prepare for my examination.
And why do you believe that you will be a good civil servant? I mean, you're a technocrat.
Yes, so being a technocrat, I think I have the correct scientific temper for this job. And also the corporate job which I did, I think it inculcated a decision-making power in me. So now if someone is saying no to, if someone is pressurizing me for any particular thing, I can make my own decisions based on the objectivity and all the facts which are relevant.
You're trying to say that the very idea of generalist administration in Indian bureaucracy, including UP bureaucracy,
Yes,
is
sir.
fundamentally flawed because they prefer to go into the humanities, social sciences primarily, and also on the generalist administration rather than the specialized scientific temper thing, as you said.
No, sir, I think scientific temper is not just related to the science. The scientific temper is something which we can use in our everyday life. For example, the sociology is also a scientific discipline. So we cannot. So science is basically an ethos. So we cannot say that it is truly connected to natural sciences only.
Scientific temper is also one of the thing in Indian Constitution.
Yes, sir.
Where?
Sir, I think it is in DPSPs.
If you look at the DPSPs and compare it with the fundamental duties,
Yes, sir.
what is the fundamental difference between the two?
So fundamental duties can be legally enforced and DPSPs cannot be legally enforced. But they are the moral guidelines for the state.
How can fundamental duties be legally enforced?
Sorry, sir. So fundamental duties are the duties which have to be abided by the citizens, while the fundamental while DPSPs are basically the moral guidelines from the constitution makers to the state.
So primary difference is that the DPSPs directs the state.
Yes, sir.
And fundamental duties more or less directs the citizen.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Why fundamental duties were required at all, and when other things which came into emergency were removed later, why fundamental duties stayed?
So basically, I think this goes back to like very historical times, where in the times of the Plato and Aristotle, these philosophers have also said that with certain rights you have to follow certain amount of the duties. Then only you can respect those particular rights which you have. That's it, sir.
But that's not answering the question. Question is, if the other things which were introduced in the emergency period, the entire 42nd Amendment, were more or less undone later, why this particular aspect, the fundamental duties, were not removed? Because after all, it's a legacy of the emergency.
Yes, sir.
You can't think of anything?
I'm unable to recall.
No problem. So,
Anshul.
Yes, sir.
What do you understand by a 2+2 format of dialogue?
So 2+2 format of dialogue is a track of diplomacy in which both the foreign ministers as well as defense ministers participate between the two countries.
Okay, and India has this format with how many countries?
Sir, with USA, I think, sir, with Japan we have 2+2 dialogue, and with Russia we were trying to engage.
Okay, fine. And if we look at India's Think West policy or Look West policy, which are the countries which are very prominent for or very important for India from this Look West policy point of view?
Sir, I think the whole Gulf countries from which we are procuring crude oil, be it Iran, UAE, Saudi Arabia, and also Israel.
If you have to pick 3 countries, like which 3 countries would you pick, which are very significant for India?
Sir, Israel, United Arab Emirates, and Iraq.
Iraq, not Iran?
No, sir, because we have been like reducing our crude oil import from Iran due to sanctions from USA.
Okay, and recently in West Asia there was this grouping which has been renamed. Earlier it was known as Western Quad. So what is the new grouping that has come into place?
Sir, in Western Asia?
In West Asia.
Sir, I think you are talking about I2U2.
Yes, I2U2.
So, sir, it is a grouping between Israel, India, and UAE and USA.
Okay, so we can understand that UAE and Israel are part of West Asia. Then US also has deep stakes in West Asia. But what about India? Why is India interested in West Asia?
Sir, India is interested in West Asia because of the multiple reasons. The first being our energy concerns. We are mostly dependent on West Asia. Secondly, due to our huge migrant population in the West Asia, especially UAE. Sir.
Okay. And you are also a sociology student.
Yes, sir.
So there is a debate about death penalty. What is your view on death penalty? Should it be continued, or should we do away with it?
Sir, I think there are both aspects to it. I think the death penalty should be used in the rarest of the rarest cases when the crime is very much heinous.
Supreme Court has actually said this or given this doctrine in one particular case. Which case is that?
Sir, I am unable to recall it.
Okay, but there are both sides to this issue of death penalty.
Yes, sir.
But if you have to take a or make a choice, then which side would you lean?
Sir, if I have to make a choice, I would not allow a death penalty because the human being is a creation of God. So we do not have like any right to take life from somebody else.
Okay.
And being a democratic state, we should not do it.
Okay. Who is considered as the father of Indian sociology?
𝐺𝑠 𝐏𝐫𝐞𝐥𝐬.
Thank you, sir.
Anshul.
Yes, sir.
Anshul, tell me about something, the UP budget, where social sector policies are the schemes. They have been enumerated.
Yes, sir. So for the women, the major allocation has been made for Mission Shakti. Then there is, I'm unable to recall the name of the scheme, but there is a free tablet scheme, tablet and smartphone scheme for the underprivileged section.
For everyone or underprivileged section?
For the underprivileged section.
Okay.
And then there is a Mission Suraksha Suposhan Yojana for.
What is the percentage of the the budget that has been allocated for the social sector out of the total budget?
Sir, I am not aware of the number.
You are not aware of that, right? BS4 and BS6. We have shifted from BS4 to BS6 directly. What happened to the BS5th Bharat stage?
So because I think we want to, in the BS4 we were lagging already according to the Western standards. In Europe, it was already introduced. So we tried, so due to our commitment to the Paris climate change also, and our external commitment, we directly moved to the BS6, which is a much efficient variety of the engine, in which there is less sulfur.
So what the government
and
of India
nitrox
has, taken the steps to, you can say, to achieve the goals under the BS6.
Sorry, sir.
Which particular initiative that government of India has taken to achieve the goals under the BS6?
So government of India has actually banned the sale of the vehicles which were running on the BS4 engines. I don't know exactly the date when they banned it.
Okay. Anything about the hydrocarbons, fuels, renewable energy sources, anything else? Or blending up of these fuels?
Yes, sir. We have a target of blending of 20% of these fuel, E20 ethanol.
Okay. Since you worked as a data scientist also, what is the status of the privacy? The digital privacy of Indians in general. It is said that is like that is at the stake. What is your opinion,
sir? I think
as an insiders?
Yes, sir. I think it is at stake. It was also my personal experience when I see it. So once upon a time, I received a mail from an unknown user, and it had my password to my email ID. So I was shocked. So I searched in the Google. So I got to know that these are the messages which were leaked approximately 5 or 6 years ago in the dark web. So, and also the various other apps, like the various Chinese apps which were working, which are now banned, were a threat to our digital security. And especially the certain apps like which access our contacts. And
I got it. Anshul, government of India is very sensitive about protecting the data related with the Indians, its citizens. What steps it has taken to in this regard, in this direction?
Yes, sir. So first of all, I think the IT Act was amended, and basically the cyber terrorism or the cyber crime has
any bill that government is mulling over to bring in the parliament?
So sir, it is the data protection bill which was recommended by Drishti IAS committee. So that is still pending, and that is still in the initial stages, and it has to be passed by
Have
the
you gone
parliament.
through the Sri Krishna's report, commission report?
So not thoroughly, I haven't.
Not thoroughly. Not an issue. Dr. Ambedkar once said that democratic executive must satisfy the two conditions. One is that it should be stable executive, and the another is it should be responsible. Right? But recent cases, we have seen in different states like Maharashtra, Karnataka, and other states, the executives, the state executives, they have, they remain in constant fear whether they will be there in the government or not. Which kind of, the political atmosphere you see that the parameters are not being, satisfying for the proper functioning of the democracy? How do you see all these events?
Sir, are you talking about permanent executive or?
I'm talking about the political executives.
Political executive.
Yes.
Sir, I think basically the stability issue is due to the anti-defection law which we are having in our country. So we are seeing mass defections nowadays.
You wanted to make some change. You wanted to propose some changes into this?
Yes, sir. Basically, I think the defections, basically the various reports which have said by the Sarkaria commissions and various other commissions that these anti-defections laws, the speaker should not be the only authority who should be deciding the anti-defection law.
Have you heard of the �]𝐻𝐒 𝐏𝐫𝐞𝐤 case?
Yes, sir. Sir, in that Supreme Court basically said that the discretion of these speaker is not beyond the judicial review.
Okay, sir.
Okay, Anshul.
Yes, sir.
Anshul, you have taken sociology as your optional.
Yes, sir.
As a sociology student, tell me, Union government's decision not to have caste census, why this decision as a sociology student is disastrous?
Yes, sir. Sir, if we do not have a basic data of all the caste, so basically that would lead to the poor implementations of all the schemes which are there of the vulnerable sections, whether it is for the OBCs, backward caste, SCs.
That's the administrative aspect. I'm talking about as a sociology student. what are the important data that one would access if a caste census is conducted?
Sir, if a caste census is conducted, we can access variety of the data. Like we can get to know about the poverty status of a particular caste, what is the deprivations, what are the exclusions they have been subjected to. Similarly, if in the policy making also the sociologist can contribute, where like when the data is available, they can study the data and come up with the various theories and the various solutions to the current problems which we are facing in India. So I think the data is of the prime importance.
Then what are the apprehensions of the government? Why they are not doing it?
Sir, actually I'm not aware of the government side.
Okay, no problem. You mentioned that you like science documentaries.
Yes, sir.
Tell me, we were discussing that scientific temper thing also. What are the peculiar things about the science communication which differentiate it from, say, the other forms of media communication, say, the news?
So science communication will be basically based on the universal fact, which will be true in all circumstances. It does not indulge in certain forms of speculations. Secondly, the scientific communication will go for the scientific methods like generalizations, multivariate analysis, and it will basically sir, if I talk about these science documentaries, they are basically engaging and also educational.
Okay, before we let you go, just tell me, if you're given a choice to choose the district you want to work in, which district will it?
Sir, I would want to work in Sonbhadra district.
Sonbhadra?
Yes,
Why?
sir. Because of, I think it has the largest forest area cover, and I think there will be different problems, as well as there are the only tribal dominated area of our country. So as a sociology student of our state, as a sociology student, I think I would be able to serve them better. That's
fine, Anshul. Nice talking to you. The interview is over. You can go now.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Ready, Anshul? Anshul, is it going to be your first interview with the commission?
Yes, sir.
And it is on 29th of July.
Yes, sir.
You're happy with your performance, or you believe there were areas you would like to improve?
Yes, sir. There were areas, especially I think confidence at certain point.
Right. Anshul, see, you're a good candidate. You studied from IIT Kanpur, and you are, throughout your career, you've been in Noida, and I mean, you have that metropolitan exposure all through, and it reflects well in your personality. I don't know why you choose to have that feeble voice, which unnecessarily suggest as if you are underconfident, because your analysis was good. Your knowledge domain, almost wherever we were discussing, you were not clueless. You knew something about it. It's not that you were absolutely clueless. There may be more depth into certain areas, but that apart, overall, your knowledge base is good. Your knowledge base is good. Your analysis is also good. Then the delivery of this answer should also be equally confident, because it is usually, there is a positive correlation between the content and the communication. In your case, you have wonderful content, but you are unnecessarily being very low in energy, right? So my suggestion right now is that work on the energy part. It is merely a matter of 15-20 minutes. For 15-20 minutes, a person of your age should be bubbling with the energy, right? You're getting my point. Otherwise, in general, your entry is good, your sitting posture is good, your hand movement is restricted, eye contact is also good, flow is not that bad. But it is only the volume, the loudness, and the verbal communication aspect where I want you to work on, right? That is primary thing. There were a few areas, obviously, when you were discussing international relation, maybe more insightful and more informed inputs would have been better. Otherwise, in general, everything is okay. So primarily, I want you to work on your voice level, energy level, enthusiasm, right? Able to do it, I'm sure the performance will increase manifold, which is already very good, right? All the best.
Thank you, sir.